Hello worldo, this is Gemini Wolfstar Gaming, it's Anton, and welcome back to more Robotics Notes DaSH. Last time, we got several rounds of some very embarrassing training sessions with Junna, and I was really feeling for her. I was really feeling bad for her, and Daru, kind of by the end of it here, got what was coming to him because we left off last time. We left off here, Junna came face to face with him and unexpectedly and punched his lights out. So it's like he's asking himself if he's still alive. I mean, he obviously is, but it's like he kind of deserved it, if you ask me, for him trying to sneak up on Junna. Alive?
よかった。目を覚ましたんですね。
I mean, even though Junna didn't really mean to, it's like it had to have been just a reflex thing, and she just reacted without really thinking and just completely laid Daru out. Hi. It's like, where am I? Oh look, a karate goddess. It's like this is honestly kind of a great CG. I mean, it's very simple. Great lighting. The expression on her face is definitely one of, you know, worry and kind of shock. But it's a nice CG. The back of my head feels like it's wrapped in something warm and soft. Cold compress? Is this heaven? Am I looking up at a karate angel?
あ、もう少し寝ててください。
It's like, listen to Mama Junna. Any male eroge fan would die to rest their head on a girl's thighs. Oh, that's what's under his head. Well, I gotta be dead if I'm in this sort of situation. You're not dead, Daru. I'm sorry, Yuki, Susaha. It's like, goodbye, cruel world. Goodbye, wife and daughter. I'm in heaven now with my karate angel. But if I'm in heaven, I'd like to enjoy this just a little longer. Of course.
ごめんなさい。私ったらつい思いっきり蹴っちゃって。
Oh! She didn't punch him, she kicked him! What was it, like a roundhouse kick? It's like a roundhouse! It's like, oh man. There's a movie I haven't watched in such a long time, and I actually watched a movie reactor watch it kind of recently, and it's been so long since I've watched the movie, and I'm like, God, I really gotta watch that movie again. Now that things have calmed down, I feel a throbbing pain around my waist. Wait, if Juntan's able to throw a kick like that on reflex, then she must be... She's very, very good. I mean, she's She's a brown belt. I know black belt is like the top color for the belts, and white is the lowest. Where does brown fit in? Is it it's high, it's closer to black than it is to white, right? I'm not entirely sure. Pain? If this is heaven, how could I possibly feel pain? So I'm still alive? Yes you are, Daru. It's like, wake up and smell the roses. Junna's face. Oh, it's like now she's embarrassed again. Oh no, she's not embarrassed. She's more in a state of like, no, wait, stay, rest, don't move.
いや、さすがに膝枕はまずいっつうか嬉しいっつうか、ほらなんと言いますか。
I don't think I've ever heard Daru be flustered before. That's a first. Yeah, made Junna giggle.
え、僕何かおかしなことでも
Apparently.
橋田さんって思ったよりも純情なんだなって。
Innocent? Oh, you poor sweet summer child, Junna.
僕が純情
Junjo? Does that mean innocent in Japanese? Junjo?
はい。
そんなバカな。これでも大人の男のつもりなのだぜ。
I mean, we know that, Daru.
そうですか？いつもは変なことばっかり言ってるのに、こういう時は急に真っ赤になってちょっと可愛い。
Well then. Cute? Kawaii? Me? Are you telling me this young girlie has fallen for my adorable figure? my adorable figure. my adorable rotund figure.
橋田さん、聞いてもらってもいいですか？
Sure. Could this be her confession of love? I don't know about that. Wait, Mate, I have a wife and daughter. Should I turn her down before she makes the first move? Oh my god. This is not how I thought this would start off here. But even I'm not cruel enough to reject a girlie like that.
はいどうぞ
It's like he's getting this all mixed up in his head. She's not gonna say anything like that. There's no harm in hearing her out, so I ready my ears as if they're recording devices. It's like, let me tune my ears into the proper frequency.
私ね、今回のこのバトロボの件、全然乗り気じゃなくて。
Clearly.
え、バトロボ？
はい、バトロボ。
That's what she's talking about.
あぶねえ。 うっかり勘違いして恥ずかしい思いをするところだったお。
Yeah. Misunderstandings, especially in a comedic formula, can be very lighthearted and fun. But at the same time, it's like, it's almost kind of cringeworthy in a way. But it just kind of makes for, some great, comedic timing and chemistry between characters.
バトロボの担当も最初は逃げてたんです。でも結局やらされることになってずっと嫌だって思ってて。
I mean, it's been very clear that this has been weighing on her a lot. Ever since Sumio brought it up to her. So it's like, is she really up for the task? I mean, he's asking so much of her. With the way she is, it's just, how is she gonna pull this off? Amidst the sound of the waves, only Junhan's voice reaches me clearly.
でも考えてみたら、私これまでもずっと逃げてただけなんです。
All she's ever done is run. I mean, that is true. I mean, given her route in the first game, her whole story with her fear of robots, it's like she did the same thing. She ran away from her problem. But when we actually got onto her route, though, and going through it, it's like we, as Kaito, managed to get her to warm up to robots again. So it's like she overcame her fear. So it's like while she ran away initially, she managed to conquer that fear. So maybe she can do the same thing here with this battle tournament?
受験も空手も全部流されるまま、自分には何もできないんだって諦めて逃げて。でもそれじゃあ変われないんですよね。
I mean, that's very true. It's like you'll never learn from your past experiences if you just keep running. Her words.
自分から変わろうと思わないと変われない。あの時橋田さんに言われてドキッとしました。
Yeah. It's like, so she has really taken Daru's words to heart then. So she's now determined to, change the way she is at least a little bit. I mean, she can't completely change, but she can at least get to where she can be a lot more confident in herself and not be so easily embarrassed. It's like, yeah, I guess that's gonna be the focus for this. While being true to yourself, you can at least change a little bit in who you are.
純太。
だから私頑張ってみることにしたんです。私の未来を変えるために。
It's like, she sounds very determined now. And I gotta say, I much prefer to see her with a smile on her face. Juntan's expression as she speaks isn't her usual unreliable look.
もし今回のことがうまくいけば、他のことも変わっていくかな。
I'm sure you could. I know she's not necessarily asking me, but... Right, she's more asking this to herself. But, you know, since she's asking out loud, and since Daru is there... Yeah, and Kaito, right? And Kaito's still there, right? I mean, she could get their input as well.
変わっていくよ。
自分のやりたいこと見つけられるかな。
I'm sure she could. Find her purpose in life, what she truly wants to do. I mean, whether she wants to like stick with Space Candy, working there, or eventually move on and do something else. And maybe, or maybe even getting into a relationship with Subaru. It's like I'm not gonna let that go. It's like I just feel like that there's something there between them that's not really being said between the two of them.
見つかるさ。
ヤシオくんみたいになれるかな。
Like Kaito? Kaito's a character all on his own. I feel like he's not as quirky as all the other characters. Actually, the same can be said with Subaru. It's like both Kaito and Subaru are both very level-headed and logical. So I feel like her trying to be like Kaito wouldn't exactly work. It's like just be... It's like... There seems to be the theme for her route. Just to be herself. And even though that she is trying to change a little bit of who she is, what it comes down to is being yourself. And being true to yourself.
なれる。ん?
Hold up. What? Why did Yashio-kyun enter the picture all of a sudden? Did he overhear all this?
何? 結局ジュンタもヤシオキュンなわけ?
I don't think so. I mean, I've never really felt anything between the two of them. Or I guess not really between the two of them. I've never really gotten any kind of inclination that Junna really, really likes Kaito.
ぐぬぬ、みんなしてヤシオキュンばっかり。リア充爆発しろ!
Then you have to include yourself in that, Daru. You're married and have a child. Come on.
違います。そういうことじゃなくて。
俺のこと呼んだ?
Kaito. It's like, someone call me? It's like, I heard my name. What's going on? Hi guys. I'm here too.
あ、
はい、冷たいコーラ。
An ice cold drink. That's nice on a hot summer day.
買ってきてくれたん?
For moi.
自分のを買いに行ったついでにね。
your usual melon soda, right? This is it. This is what makes a normie a normie. I take the bottle from Yashio-kun's hand, open the cap, and pour it down my throat. Just pour it straight down his throat. You're like, oh. That is quite the gulping sounds. Oh my god. It didn't sound like he was like really gulping. It sounded like he was gonna have a conniption fit.
うわ、一気。
Yeah, he did.
よし、水着カルテの特訓は終わり。ジュンタン、下履いて。
いいんですか？
Sure sounds like it.
オッケーオッケー。ほれほれ、ささ。
I heard okay, okay, okay in there.
はい。
She puts on her pants and flashes us a relieved but slightly embarrassed smile.
これでいいですか？
I imagine she feels a lot better now.
よし、そんじゃこっちへ。
I pull Juntan's hand and walk over to the waves. Now what is he gonna do?
さあ、ここで今思ってることをあの夕日に向かって叫ぶんだおう。
Just let it all out. Just scream up at the sky.
今思ってることですか？
Or yell at the ocean. Just yell wherever.
そう、何でもいいから今の自分の気持ちをさ。
Just as we have the concept of the power of language, I think it's important to vocalize your feelings. I agree with that. Keeping things inside makes it difficult to move forward. Kind of makes it hard though when you don't have anyone to... when you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to move forward. By vocalizing your feelings, you can finally come to understand them.
さあ、
もっと強くなりたいです。
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you know who Junna makes me think of? Chihiro from Danganronpa. I feel like they're kind of alike. They feel so weak on the inside that but they both want to be stronger.
声が小さい。もっと大きな声で。
心も体も強くなりたいです。
Yes, both in mind and body. And in spirit. Spirit should also be included.
もっと。
私は変わりたい。強くなりたいです。
変わりたいじゃなくて変わるんだ。
私は変わる。強くなる。
絶対に。
絶対に変わる。強くなってやる。
Actually, you know, I brought up Danganronpa, and actually, I found out that, Junna's Seiyu, her voice actor, is in Danganronpa V3. Yeah, her Japanese voice actress. I'm blanking on her last name, her family name, but her given name is Sora. But I know she voices Tenko in V3, which is like a completely opposite kind of character in comparison to Junna.
どう変われそう？
わからないけど、でもなんだか少しうまくいきそうな気が。
あ、
After all that, Juntan trips and falls on the ground. Oops. Okay? I didn't think she was also a ditz. You mean a klutz, not a ditz.
濡れちゃった。
Oh, Junna. It's like, I say that a lot. It's like, whenever she gets like this.
今のセリフもっと上目遣いでプリーズ。
Here we go. Daru will never change. And no. And please, please, Junna, do not say it again.
せっかくのいい感じが台無しだね。
ほんとほんと。まあ、順単らしいといえばらしいけどね。くふふ。
Yeah, I can agree with that. Take that? Take what?
冷て。
Now they're just splashing water at each other. This is such a great CG. Junna looks so happy. It's like Daru's face. It's like his mouth is open so wide. Juntan gets upset and splashes me with water.
ちょっと、何するの？
笑った罰ですよ。
やったな。そんじゃこっちもそい。
Oh boy.
ちょっと、俺にまでかけないでよ。
You're already involved, Kaijo.
一人だけ逃げようったってダメなんだから。
うわっ、くそ、だったらこっちも。
I kind of want to see this animated now.
橋田さん助けて。
Save me.
よし来た。
あ、ずるい。
I have this biggest smile on my face right now. I'm into this springtime of youth sort of vibe. Yeah, I'm getting into it too, honestly. Makes me feel like a normie. There's nothing wrong with that. Here I am, pushing 30, and finally experiencing them halcyon days. I just hope I don't explode. I'm surprised I didn't get a tip for halcyon. Just hope he won't explode. That's
それで、ジュンナさんは勝てそうなんですか？バトロボ。
I mean, we'll see.
今のところ、勝算はほとんどないね。
I mean, so far with the routes, we haven't seen like everything pan out in each route. Like we don't, like in Subaru's route, we didn't actually see him in the robo lecture giving the lecture to a bunch of people. That didn't actually happen. So we might not even see the battle tournament in Junna's route. So although I really want to see that happen, I want to see Junna doing it and having fun with it and trying her best. I mean, she doesn't have to win. It would be awesome if she won, but she doesn't have to. Just the experience alone would really help her confidence, I feel. No, I'm not Daru, I'm Kaito now. Heidi visiting my room in the evening and having a chat like this has become a regular routine as of late. It's nothing weird. It's just that my family is taking care of Heidi since she doesn't have any relatives she can live with. It's like we went over that in her route, and not to mention in the first game. We're basically like roommates. More like brother and sister. I'm back for a summer vacation, but otherwise I'm not usually home. So normally it'd just be mom and dad in the house. With Heidi around, I figured maybe they wouldn't get so lonely. Oh, there you go. It's like since Kaito had left the roost to go to college, it's like he's not around a whole lot, so it's like with his parents, even though they would be busy like with their own jobs, especially his dad, since his dad is a pilot. But even then, it's like they would still have someone around to, look after, take care of. And Heidi fits that role, so they're not like completely alone. They always said they wanted a daughter, so Heidi has basically become my little sister. So I feel like I called it a few lines ahead of time. It's like they're brother and sister. Ironically, she's actually older than me. We've already gone over this. But personally, I'm grateful since now I have a legit excuse for her to call me Oni-chan. I don't have to feel so awkward about it in front of other people. I mean, there was really no reason for him to feel awkward about it, really. I mean, it's a term of endearment. It's like there's plenty terms of endearments for many people. I sadly had never gotten one growing up. It's like my sister did with my grandpa. It's like my sister was conceived in New Zealand, and as a result, my grandfather would call her Kiwi. He never had a term of endearment like that for me. It's like I was born and bred in the United States, so it's like no term of endearment like that for me. But I just kind of wonder what kind of nickname he would have had for me if I had been like born somewhere or conceived somewhere unique.
バトロボに優勝できれば、新入部員も入ってくるかもしれないんですよね。
Maybe. Don't really know for sure.
そういう話だね。
Oh, right, that's the plan. That's right, I kind of forgot. That's their plan to try and keep the robot club from completely shutting down, basically.
入ってこないと?
Then it would be a very sad state of affairs.
いろいろと厳しいよね、正直。
People treated us like heroes after that fateful incident, and for a time it seemed like we would get a bunch of new folks clamoring to join. But things didn't work out that way. Apparently thanks to Frau. Because Frau, being the way that she is, people couldn't accept her, which is sad, actually. It's like, if people can't accept you for the way you are, then it's like, why bother? Why bother with them? I heard from Subaru that they received new membership applications, but they all canceled after the trial period. Oh, there's a trial period? I don't remember that from the first game. Why, you ask? That's because, well, we'll save that story for another day, and another route. Anyway, just because we were hot news for a bit didn't mean that the school was just going to throw money at a two-man band. And that's how it was for quite a while in the first game, yeah. The world... and now, actually, because it's just Frau and Subaru left. Everyone else has graduated. The world can be pretty harsh sometimes.
まあ厳しいのはお金の面だけじゃないんだけどね。
There are only 2 people in the club right now, and with both of them being seniors come next year, that number is going to drop to 0. Akio's desire to sustain the club that Misane built will come to a crushing end. Which would just be sad. It's like, Misane worked so hard in the robot club when she was going to school, and with their best efforts, Kaito and Akio tried to keep the robot club afloat in the first game, and now they're having to do that all over again in this game with Frau and Subaru. I just kind of hope that things work out in the end for the robot club. Luckily, the Kimijima-ko incident from the other day has attracted some attention to the festival. If we can produce results while we still have the spotlight on us, we could potentially use that to our advantage. Hold up. What? Could this be what Candy-san is aiming for? That just might be, actually.
どっちにしても今は橋田さんが頼りなんだけどさ。
When we resolved the Kimijima-ko incident, I figured he'd be a powerful ally, but after watching him over the past few days, I'm starting to have second thoughts. Oh. Having said that, now that we've put him in charge of the robot side of things too, there's not much I can do about it. Plus, I can't keep meddling forever.
お兄ちゃんの方は大丈夫なんですか？
俺？
お勉強。夏は天王山だって言いますよ。
That's what she's referring to, his studies.
まあ、それなりに。
It might look like I'm playing around, but I've been studying pretty regularly. From what I remember on his phone. I've been doing worksheets on my phone droid while checking up on Junna and Hashida-san too. Yeah, I was remembering that correctly. All I can do is support them from afar.
でもさ、不思議な人なんだよね、あの人。
It's like each route, it's like Kaito is always questioning Daru's intentions.
あの人？
Yeah, that dude. Daru. Hashida-san.
橋田さん、言ってることも変だし、やってることも無茶苦茶だけど、なんとかしてくれるんじゃないかって、そんな気にさせられる。
Kaito hit the nail right on the head. He's very much a weirdo and he's always doing something crazy, but he always pulls through in the end, no matter what. Same thing with Steins Gate.
それはわかる気がします。
Maybe this is why Junna and Nae-san are so compelled to trust him in the end. I mean, definitely Nae. I mean, she's known him since she was a child. Whether that turns out for better or worse remains to be seen. But for now,
任せるしかないか。
オキドキ、了解だお。
Okie dokie. I love that phrase. And I love that the voice actors actually say it. I get off the phone with Sawada-kun and put away my phone droid. We're 2 days away from the Battle Robots tournament. Only 2 days away now. So it's almost been a full week. According to my guy, Sawada-kun, the robot will be completed by tomorrow. Or no, wait. No, not from Sawada, from the what was it? One of the vendors for the tournament, right? We only have 1 day to tune it, but we'll work it out somehow.
お待たせしました。マンゴーかき氷、練乳マシマシです。
Mango shaved ice with extra condensed milk. I honestly want to try that. Especially since I've never actually had mango.
うほ、うまそう。
I take a mouthful of the shaved ice. It's topped with a generous amount of mango pulp. It's pointless to dwell on things that you have no control over. That's the key to enjoying life.
くー、きたー。
That piercing pain in my temple is part of its summery flavor. That's what you call brain freeze.
ねえ、橋田さん、今日はジュンの方はいいの？
She'll be okay, I'm sure of it.
あ、ジュンタンね。うん、今日は会場の作業で手が離せないんだってさ。
Oh, okay. So she's not working on her training, she's busy with other stuff. Although she's entering the Battle Robots tournament, she can't just abandon her other duties to focus solely on training. Right.
特訓か。いいなあ、たぎるなあ。うちもバイトさえなければ付き合うんだけどな。
If only Akio didn't have to work, she would help. Passionate, driven girls like Akitan here are hard to come by these days. I feel like that's very, very true. In that sense, she might compliment Yashio-kyun and his cool, laid-back personality. Yes. Yes, she does.
で、特訓の成果は？純の恥ずかしがりなとこ治った？
That's still a work in progress.
まあ少しはマシになってきてると思う。
A work on progress on both fronts, I should say.
本当？
The fact that she's more motivated to change on her own is progress in and of itself. I think.
つうても克服とまではいかないけどね。
Yeah, definitely not yet.
そっか。でもそうだよね。そう簡単にいけば苦労はしないよね。
Yeah, exactly. But things aren't looking hopeless either. She reminds me of my close friend, Okabe. He was all talk at first, but he eventually grew to become a real scientist.
会場にノミフスキー粒子でも散布できればな。
Novsky particles? What is this? Fiction. A special particle from the Gundam anime series. It has the power to block radar, resulting in close combat fighting to be the main way robots battle. Okay. I take it this is in like robot anime. I mean, like I've said before, the only robot anime that I've seen is the 2003 reboot of Astro Boy, so I don't know a whole lot of robot anime. Yeah, why specifically the Novsky particles?
だって周りから見えなくなるでしょ？
Invisible, really? Novsky particles nullify radar equipment in the Gundam universe. It's a critical piece of tech in the series, forcing robots to engage in physical combat instead of ranged.
でもあれはレーダーに影響するだけで結局目視されることには変わりないんじゃね？
バレちゃったか。そうなんだよね。
She really loves robots, huh? Very much so.
でも何かが足りないような気がするんだよね。
何かって？
Yeah, what does he mean?
具体的にそれが何なのか今のところ僕にもわかんないんだけど。
足りないものか。
Akitan whispers before falling into deep thought, her eyes closed and brows furrowed. And then, as if the light bulb in her head suddenly turns on, ding! Her eyes open up widely.
明鏡止水!
Your mind is clear and serene? Alright. My mind is clear and serene.
なんてね。好きなアニメでそういうシーンがあったからちょっと言ってみたかっただけ。
That's one she hasn't said before.
それって確か G ガンバムに出てきた。
やっぱり知ってるんだね。さすが橋田さん。
I mean, they have some of the same interests.
そりゃガンバムシリーズは全部抑えてますから。
Please. And he's seen every Gundam series? It's like, how many is there?
ちなみにうちはファーストが好きだけど G も単 A も大好き。特に
What's with the upside down A?
こらセノミヤ、いつまで油売ってる。
Yeah, oh. Better get back to work before your manager gets on your butt, Akio. Oh.
やば、仕事戻らなきゃ。橋田さん、ごゆっくり。
It's like, see ya, Akiho. It's like, Akiho, away! My mind is clear and serene. The phrase is written using the kanji for still water and mirror. Pretty on the nose, right? Huh. Using the kanji for still water and mirror. If the surface of the water is the mind, then still water implies a calm mind. Interesting. Being worried about others. Caring about what other people think. These thoughts are signs of a turbulent mind. Ripples in the water. I feel like this is getting very poetic and prophetic. Maybe not prophetic, but psychosemantic. I think. I may be a little off. But demo. Hey Junna.
橋田さん。
I've become quite familiar with the clear voice that causes me to look up.
あ、ジュンタンと誰？
Are her brothers with her? Standing behind Juntan are 3 impish children with impish little smiles on their faces. Yep, her brothers.
お前こそ誰だよ。
Brat? I wouldn't exactly call them brats. That's our question.
そうだそうだ。人に名前を聞くときはまず最初に名乗るんだぞ。
I could have figured that they had to show up during Junna's route.
ほら、大人に向かってそういう生意気な口聞かないの？
I mean, Daru isn't that elderly.
だってこいつが。
This guy what? What? What are you gonna say?
こいつって言わない。
Thank you, Junna. They must be Juntan's younger brothers.
ごめんなさい。この子たち、本当にやんちゃで。
Okay, so Junna calls them little brats. So I guess the descriptor for brat fits then.
いやいや、確かに彼らの言う通りだお。僕は橋田至。ジュンタ、お姉さんとはなんつうか友達以上恋人未満みたいな仲です。
Daru. Daru. More than friends, but less than lovers. So what does that exactly make the two of you exactly?
What?
That, of course, that would surprise Junna. If I issue a preemptive strike, these little brats will definitely freak out.
G.
Or not. But that was really stretched out.
G.
Gee. Pardon? They said G.
嘘つくな。お前みたいな変なやつ、姉ちゃんが好きになるわけないだろ。
Rude. Toshi.
そうだそうだそうだそうだ
The two younger brats follow the oldest. Of course they do.
ぐぬぬ。
こらトシ失礼なこと言わないのマサもシンも
Sounds like Toshi is the oldest, followed by Masa, then Shin. Dang brats.
じゃあ姉ちゃんはこいつのさっきの言葉が本当だっていうのか？
Yes.
それは違うけど
Good. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. A straight answer, I see. I get it. I get it, but it's still tough to hear.
でもすごくお世話になってる人だから失礼なこと言っちゃダメわかった？はーい
Huh. She really plays the big sister role quite well. I mean, she's the eldest. Which makes it extra weird that she falls apart when it comes to karate. Their family. Come on. But I guess the more she thinks about doing a good job, the more turbulent the water surface becomes. That's an interesting metaphor. In essence, she gets too nervous.
それより姉ちゃん休憩中なんだろ遊ぼうぜ遊ぶまあちょっとだけならいいけどそれで何して遊ぶ
The youngest pulls out a mask. Clearly, he was waiting for the exact question.
種子島ごっこ
Ah! So he pulled out a Tanegashiman mask. Allow me to explain. The Tanegashiman are Tanegashima's local hero squad. We learned about this in another route. That's right. The very same heroes I saw on TV at the hotel.
種がブルー10名
That's right, it was just earlier. Not in another route, it was just earlier, before the routes come up.
じゃあ種がイエローチュータ
俺はベニーで。
The oldest one seems shy about it, but the other two are super hyped.
姉ちゃんは不要な
They hand Juntan the one pink mask. It's like the girl of the group. After seeing it on TV the other night, I looked into it for myself. The Tanegashiman team is a trio made up of red, blue, and yellow heroes. Wait. I could have sworn there were like 5 of them. Fuyo seems to be positioned outside of the main group. There's actually an interesting backstory to it, and the series is way more legit than I expected.
よし、お前、外装怪人ホトクリン。
Noxious weed monster Hotokyurin. Did I say that right? Alright.
え、
よし、お前、外装怪人ホトクリン。
Hotokyurin. Hotokyurin? Hotokyurin. I think I got it. No. Tips. There we go. Noxious weed monster Hotokyurin. That's kind of fun to say. It just kind of rolls off my tongue. A villain character that shows up in Island Soldier Tanegashiman, spawned from strong weeds and seeks to destroy the agricultural industry. Makes complete sense for him to be a weed monster then. I look around, but I'm the only other person here. Not according to the background image. Which means...
暗闇を切り裂く3つの光
Our 3 beams of light will sever the darkness. Okay, this is a fun CG. And this music. Too much fun. And even Junna's into it.
離島仙台種子島
うおー、安納芋もサトウキビもみんなからしてやるぞ。
What?
おのれジャスロー帝国名帝国名
Allow me to explain once more. Okay. The Jusro Empire is an evil empire that is trying to rule over Tanegashima with evil energy, quote unquote. I would have preferred being Majiman. I think I have that right. He's a cool character with lots of sweet abilities. But if I'm gonna do this, I'm going all the way, baby, yeah!
ふははは。この俺様にかかれば種子島などひとひねりだ。
Feel the true power of an adult.
そうはさせるかあっちゃめキック
Ow.
あだ。
Ouch! I totally forgot that kids don't know how to pull their punches. It's like they don't know their own strength.
あっちゃめパンチ
Ow. No, not an ouch this time. A go. Wait, that was a critical hit in the what? Do I want to know?
ほらベニーも
竜神雷鳴波
Dragon God's thunderous roar. The oldest one seems too embarrassed to take it seriously, so he's taking it easy on me. I don't blame him for being embarrassed. Huh. Embarrassment seems to be a big theme in this route. And it's not just with Junna now. Now it's also with Toshi. folks are watching us like we're some kind of performance art. I mean, they're putting on an act, so it's like, of course they're gonna think that.
うわー
ほら、うよもう。わかったわ。
えまあ
It's like, what is she gonna do?
えい、花吹雪一閃。
Flowery flash. That's very alliterative.
うわー
Why is she so into this? I mean, they all are into karate, for one. And two, they're clearly all into Tanegashiman.
行くぞみんな。おう。種子島フラッシュ。
うわーやられた覚えておけ種子島
Daru's getting into this. Phew, it's finally over. Is this what I'll have to go through when Suzuha gets a little older? I think it'll be a little different by the time Suzuha is their age. Especially Toshi's age, I'd say. And then... Applause. People enjoyed it. Wait. Junna just put on an act with her brothers. She performed with her brothers. Her performance anxiety completely went out the window. All of a sudden, the onlookers shower us in pleasant applause.
さよなら。
Junna, away! Again. Having just realized the situation she's in, Juntan immediately dashes away, flustered and embarrassed again. But in the moment, her performance anxiety completely went out the window when performing with her brothers. Her brothers could really help her with her performance anxiety. Oh boy. Oh, it's completely fine, Junna. That was fun. It's like that was a lot of fun. It's like seeing Junna not having a worry in the world and her performance anxiety not getting in the way was great. It was great. She just needs to replicate that with the Battle Robots tournament. I think I'm gonna stop it here for now. We'll pick things back up with Junna's apology next time. So I hope you all enjoyed watching, and thank you all for watching as well. And if you enjoyed the video and want to see more, like, favorite, and claw that subscribe button to become part of the pack. And as always, everyone, I hope you all have a wonderful day or night, wherever you may be.